Welcome to Mind Coast, everyone. Thanks for being here. In a previous intention, we discussed finding peace in relation to our actions. This time, we're going to dive deeper into finding peace in relation to our consciousness. Intention 20. Finding Peace, Vol.II. The road to peace is traced through our actions, but the journey concludes with the adoption of a new mindset. Holding internal peace is a direct reflection of the thought pattern that we've adopted. So how would you describe the general state of your mindset? How do you feel about the life that you live? And how do you respond to the expected and unexpected events which take place? How easily can you find your way back to the calm after running into distress? Or return to joy after encountering reasons for anger and sadness? Of course, all those turbulences are just natural parts of life which can't be avoided, which is why finding true peace doesn't have nearly as much to do with avoiding or limiting these events as much as possible as it does with our ability to remain undeterred by them. So if peace grows from the stem of consciousness, what does it take to lay a solid foundation? Most of us have probably heard the phrases, "be the eye of the storm," or "like a stone in a river," and "keep floating on water" before. Those metaphors which allude to a supreme harmony and unbothered state being within our reach. Yet despite their profound wisdom, I'm sure we've all noticed that putting them into practice doesn't come naturally in the slightest. Think about a time you've been driving and were dangerously cut off without any acknowledgement in the moment or after, or when you've been treated horribly at work or at school by your peers or customers for no reason and with no personal regard. It doesn't seem normal at all to let that go completely unanswered without feeling disregarded and sick with anger. But there are people, as few as they may be, who have actually managed to overcome their emotional reactions, and not by means of some unending meditation or absurd ritualistic practice as some might conceive, but through a conscious effort to be mindful in each moment, something which all of us are capable of doing. And our best effort is all that we're capable of putting forth in each moment. So I want to make sure that we all don't make attaining that profound state of grace an immediate goal, but instead, just make it something that's within our awareness and a part of the work that we're doing on ourselves. It's okay if that work doesn't measure up to or look the same as anyone else's, since we're all starting from different places. But what's most important is the attentive focus that's actively and consistently being devoted to the observation of our responses to the emotional stimuli that we come across. Think back on how we discussed those moments in the car or at work that draw emotional responses from us without any conscious hesitation. But not just those. Try to call to mind every single potential situation or interaction that could cause a stir in your disposition, and how you then go on to react, respond, and dwell on that feeling. Those moments are where we each make note of our starting point to improve from. So for example, those of us who are aware of being easily triggered into verbal harshness and raising their voice, quelling that fire might not be immediately possible. But what is within reach is lowering the volume that we use, or using words that aren't as harsh, or even only being able to apologize just beforehand about not being able to hold back what's about to ensue. The size of the change that we're capable of making in the present isn't what's most important. It's the consistent attention to everything driving our impulse that matters most. That being said, as we're heightening our cognitive and emotional awarenesses, it goes hand in hand for us to address the same concern in our outward dispositions and reactions. The topic of meditation is one that's been touched upon briefly on this channel before, but now we're going to discuss it a bit more in depth, because the foundational purpose of meditation, to just exist in the present moment, is very instrumental to our discussion's purpose of finding peace. That idea of just existing in the present moment is worth exploring more deeply, because that state of living, as described, is one that's not just unfamiliar to and eludes the great majority of us, but it's also natural, in the sense that it's a trait that has to be acquired. Think about a typical day that you live. How from the moment you wake up, there's nothing but emotional stimuli producing information constantly being poured into you. The urgency of today's obligations, the achievements of tomorrow and the future that have yet to be met, the emotional turmoil of a relationship that you fell asleep with on your mind, still being just as present, the countless disturbances that cover the news each day. And that's just scratching the surface of what's to be expected. That endless chain of receiving and responding to emotional stimulants may seem like just living life, but the consistency of being removed from a moment of absolute quiet and stillness to just breathe is what's causing emotional volatility to be our norm, and the simplicity of spending time to just be, without a dedicated purpose, to feel foreign and discomforting. When we're beginning our mornings with so many things impacting our disposition already in contemplation, by the time we encounter what the day has in store for us, we're already mentally set into an emotionally reactive state, in which we're more likely to have an outburst or breakdown in situations where it may be difficult, but it's still possible to self-navigate our feelings and responses in a healthy direction. When we take the time to meditate, we create the opportunity for ourselves to put everything into perspective by resetting the scope from which we're viewing our lives. Inside that unpurposed stillness we willfully enter into is where we're able to once again grasp that who we are isn't attached to or defined by any situation that we're in, which means that we have the ability to separate ourselves from them, to pause and reset as is necessary, and exist in the present moment without the weight of those concerns. The more often we apply this, the closer calmness will be for us to reach whenever life tries to separate us from it. And if any of us still has this misconception, taking part in a meditation isn't confined to sitting motionless with empty thoughts. We should all know that there are countless ways in which we can reap the benefits of meditation. And however it is that we create time to just live in the moment, make sure to do just that. No objectives, no time constraints, and no worries. Just breath and motion to escape back into peace. Thanks for listening, everyone. Feel welcome to join our community, and I hope we meet again. Peace.